For the first time in our country's history, kids are facing a life expectancy that's shorter than that of their parents. They're being diagnosed with adult onset diseases such as type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and osteoarthritis. So, what's the culprit? Obesity, something that's 100% preventable. Childhood obesity is a modern day epidemic that has skyrocketed in the last 30 years. And today, about 30% of kids are classified as being obese. So, how is a child diagnosed with obesity? Well, their body mass index, or BMI for age percentile, has to be at 95% or higher. So, to calculate this, you would take the child's body weight in pounds and divide it by their height in inches squared. Then multiply that number by 703 to get their BMI. Then you would take a chart based on their gender and find where BMI and age meet, and you will see if they are at a healthy weight or not. So, obesity can cause so many other medical problems that result in $117 billion in healthcare expenditures each year. Children who are obese are at a higher risk for type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, hypertension, high cholesterol, joint problems, asthma, sleep apnea, and not to mention the psychological and social problems they could face, such as depression. So, how did we let it get this far? What are we doing differently than the generations before us? It's easy to lose weight, right? All you have to do is watch what you eat and exercise more. Just those two little things. So why isn't it that easy? Well, as a kid who was not exactly small myself, I can totally see how we got there. Not only has the childhood obesity rate increased, but the obesity rate in general has. And if we have parents who are obese, we're likely to be obese as well. And why is that? Well, kids are vulnerable and they pick up on their parents' bad habits and follow in their lead, and they take what's given to them. So what's being given to them? Well, mostly processed food, fast food, pop, juice, sugary sweets, and even if a kid did have an option, who's going to say no to that? I never said no to McDonald's, and don't forget about the Super Size Me option. Kids are spending less and less time playing outside and participating in sports as well. And they're replacing that with screen time in front of the TV, playing Xbox, on their iPads. I know kids who got phones at 8 years old, and they've had an iPad since they were 3. When my parents were kids, they had manual chores to do when they got home from school, and then they played outside with their friends until the streetlights came on. Now, what if there is a kid who wanted something healthy? Well, fruits and vegetables cost a lot more than a bag of chips, and a bag of chips doesn't go bad when you buy it in bulk. I know when I was little, and I asked my mom for fruit, she'd get so mad because I couldn't eat it all fast enough, and then she'd have to throw out all this rotting food that was expensive. Well, what about at school? Michelle Obama started that healthy lunch program and all, but I can tell you at my school that was a waste. Yeah, we had to get a fruit and a vegetable with our lunch, but that doesn't mean that we ate it. It ended up in the trash a lot. And what about the main course? Well, if you didn't like it that day, your other option was pizza. So how many kids do you think had pizza 5 days a week for lunch, and then who knows how many times their parents ordered it for dinner at night? It's actually proven that kids who take their lunch to school are healthier and way less than kids who buy their lunch. So what the heck can we do about it? Well, kids are vulnerable and they don't know any better. So prevention is key. It's going to take family, parents, teachers, and community. Just like they say, it takes a village to raise a family. Well, it takes a village to raise a healthy family without obesity too. So prevention is the best option, but these strategies will work to help kids who are already obese as well. In order to prevent obesity, we need to start educating parents, and it's never too early to start. The best time to start is actually before the kid's even born. You see, expecting parents are so willing to listen and learn because they will do anything to make sure that their baby is going to be healthy. It's actually known that babies who are given sugar develop a preference for sugary foods. So we need to teach parents that they can't be giving their kids pop and candy and cookies every day as a mainstay of their diet. These things need to be considered as treats. And they can water down juice and make that not as sugary. Maybe for dessert, they can give their children fruit, or as a snack, they can give them fruits and vegetables rather than processed foods. Not only are processed foods a problem for obesity, but they're linked to cancer as well. And when it comes to mealtime, preparation is going to be key. So you can visit myplate.gov to see what a healthy, balanced meal should look like. And then the USDA has a recipe website with a ton of healthy, affordable options that are great. And if you find one that your family likes, you can make a big batch all at once and freeze it. Just keep portion sizes in mind. But then a lot of people say they order out fast food or from a pizza place because they don't have time to cook. Well, if it's made ahead of time, all you have to do is throw it in the oven. You don't have an excuse because there's nothing to prepare. We can encourage parents to start their kids in sports young as well. Some sports kids can start at 2 or 3 years old. And that's not saying that they have to stay in that sport for the rest of their life, or you have to be some crazy, over-obsessed parent, but it'll get them started in athletics until they can find something that they actually like. And when they do find something they like, they're going to want to spend more time improving on that and practicing that than sitting in front of the Xbox or TV. That's one thing that I wish my parents did that they didn't the most. I didn't get to start soccer or cheerleading until about 3rd grade when I asked them if I could. And by that time, I was already chunky, and my friends had been doing it for years. And then by the time I got to middle school, I was obsessing over how I looked and how much I weighed, and it's just easier to start kids with healthy habits young than having them worry about changing how they are when they're older, and just develop so many other psychological problems and stressors. Parents should also be told to limit the screen time they give their children. They need to remember that they're in charge. They don't have to buy their kids an Xbox or put a TV in the room or buy them an iPad. And if they do, they can control how much time they spend in front of it each day so it doesn't become a habit to sit in front of it all day long. Instead, parents can start doing more activities together as a family. After dinner, how about you go for a walk together or a bike ride or go outside and throw a ball around? And when you come back inside, as the allotted TV time, you could watch a movie together as a family. Educators also need to take more time to teach kids about a healthy lifestyle in school outside of just PE class and starting at a younger age. And I know that that's hard because teachers have to teach what the state tells them to. And that's where parents and the community come in. We need to be advocates for our children. We can go to legislators and school board meetings and tell them how important these things are for our children to learn and how it'll affect their health and government spending in the future or today. We also need to advocate for those healthier food options every day that are actually going to taste good and not get thrown in the trash. And finally, community members can help as well. They can make sure kids have a safe and clean place to play in outside in their neighborhood. They can participate in community trash pickup. And I know a lot of parents won't let their kids go outside and play with their friends until the streetlights come on because they don't live in a community where they can trust their neighbors and trust that their kids are going to come home safe at the end of the night. So develop healthier relationships with kids. Make sure there's a safe park to go to. Develop relationships with their parents. And maybe you could even start an after-school program where kids can go and do after-school activities, physical activities, in a safe, controlled environment. So all of these adult onset diseases that kids are suffering from today are 100% preventable. And if we all come together as a family, as a community, and as a village, we can stop childhood obesity and live longer, happier, healthier lives together.